Welcome to Her Imprint, part of the Impressions Exchange. I'm Denise Gustafson, your host. This podcast celebrates the remarkable women who are transforming the printing industry. We'll explore their journeys, from challenges to triumphs, and share the stories that leave a lasting imprint. Today, I have with me Wendi Breuer. She's president and CEO of SeaChange. So Wendi, welcome.
Thank you. So happy to be here today, Denise.
It's such a pleasure to have you on. I know we have a lot to talk about today, but to get us started, can you tell us a little bit about SeaChange?
Yes, absolutely. So SeaChange is a printing and digital communications company, and we help our clients design and deliver integrated marketing campaigns. I get asked about our name a lot. SeaChange is an unusual name in the printing industry, and the name actually comes from Shakespeare, and it means profound change or a transformation. And so to me, I thought that is exactly what this age-old industry needs when I started the company about 11 years ago. We service the healthcare industry, financial industry, manufacturing sector. We also produce ballots and vote-by-mail packets for counties across 20 different states and packaging for several different retail brands as well. We're high trust certified, which allows us to print protected health information. We have an internal agency named Gather that provides creative strategy, design, site build, text communications, gamification, data analytics. This is really the fastest growing area of our business right now. So we've got 3 locations, all here in Minnesota, 156 sea changers, as we like to call ourselves.
Certainly keeps you guys a little busy.
Oh, yes, it does.
And I can understand where your name comes from too, because of all the things, like you said, your fastest growing is really on some of the digital side and some of those integrations, it sounds.
Yep, absolutely. Yes. And over the last 11 years, we've grown at a compounded annual growth rate of about 12% and become the largest WeBank, which is Women's Business Enterprise National Council printing company. So we are certified as the largest WeBank certified printing company in the country. And Denise, I am really proud to be a woman business owner.
Awesome. Congratulations. And I am proud to have you as part of that grouping of women-owned businesses. So thank you for the passion. I think that's what you need to do something like this, because it's not easy.
No, that is right.
So you started this company 11 years ago. How did you get started in print in the first place?
I find that to be such a great question. So people will ask me, were you in the printing industry before SeaChange? And I think that if you were going to launch a new company, it probably would be in a different industry than printing.
Perhaps.
Yes, but not the easiest industry maybe. But no, I think so many of us fell into the industry by accident. I was in college getting a double major in economics and political science and working as a night receptionist at Litho Specialties, which is a printing company here in the Twin Cities. And so I was basically getting paid to study. I would work from 6 to midnight and answer the door when clients would come in for press checks, answer the phone, which doesn't ring very much at that time of night. So got a lot of studying done. One night, the owner, Dwayne Pogue, stopped by my desk, and I would always say, "Good night, Mr. Pogue." And he stopped by and he said, "Wendi, would you be interested in going into our sales internship program?" And I said, "Thank you very much, Dwayne, but I actually am planning to go to law school. I've already been accepted, but thanks for thinking of me." And it was at that moment that I started having that aha moment of maybe this might be the right career path for me. I watched the sales reps as they would bring their clients in and they'd be in the viewing room. There was clients coming in from New York, from the Museum of Modern Art, all these cool ad agencies, and they just looked like they were having a lot of fun. Meanwhile, I was dating somebody in law school and thought that doesn't look nearly as fun. I then the next week started doing some informational interviews and then asked Dwayne if I could meet with him to talk further. And within 20 minutes, he said, "You're hired." And I started that summer. I went through a 2-year internship program. So he said it would not be short, even one day of 2 years, because I needed to learn the industry, learn what the company was offering, really understand the role before I was representing the brand out into the marketplace. And so I worked in customer service for 9 months. I was in estimating for several months. I worked loading the stitcher. I was in the hand bindery. I was all over that building and learning as much as I could. And then the day came and I went into sales and started growing my business. And I was in sales for 19 years, the first 19 years of my career. So litho was just that really special place that taught me so much. And when I look back now, it really taught me the importance and impact of what a great culture can really mean.
Hmm.
So during that time, you asked about my journey. I was in sales for 19 years. And while I was doing that, I would develop business and then hand those clients eventually off to other reps so that I could find more new business for us. So I opened up the New York market for us, the Chicago market. I was traveling every week. Meanwhile, I was getting my MBA because I knew at some point that I wanted to be in a leadership position.
Hmm.
I'm about 15 years in. Litho was bought by GLS companies, and I learned a lot by being in sales at another organization as well. And I also, during that time, became a mom. A lot of change happening.
A lot of change.
Yeah. So that's how I got started in the industry.
That is crazy. I've actually never heard of that kind of a program to have a 2-year intensive internship sales to really get somebody really integrated into print. That's so interesting.
I'm so fortunate because I think now to this day, I just have that much of a better understanding of the business and operations and why things need to be done the way that they're done, even how long it takes to do things
Hmm.
and understanding that. That was a great opportunity. I don't know that I necessarily realized it at the time, what a gift that was, but now I'm very grateful for it for sure.
Yeah, I know there's some companies, Imagine out in California, actually, they do have an internship program, but it's 6 months in length, not 2 years in length, but it's similar. The person spends time in every department, so they actually get a taste of everything in the organization before they pick where they wanna go.
And I think for me too, it really gives me an appreciation of each and every employee that we have
Mhm.
and the role and how they contribute and the requirements of the job.
Yeah. To have that, in a way, it's a mentorship when that owner decided to take you as part of this program and really to help nurture your growth early on.
What an investment.
Yeah, such an investment. Now, have you taken that kind of investment into SeaChange as well?
We actually have, but with a little different twist. Instead of college graduates, we have a program where we partner with local high schools and students can actually get credit for time that they spend in the trade. So we've had students that have come in and they'll be at high school classes in the morning and then they'll be here at Sea Change in the afternoon. And a couple of them have actually advanced to running our roll fed inkjet press. Another one is working in our warehouse managing inventory programs.
Very, very cool. Now, on the other side of this, how are you also supporting your current employees in terms of training?
We are investing in our employees all the time, giving opportunities for cross training. We've got mentorship programs. And even right now, our CTO is taking classes at the University of Texas in their master's program in AI. So, yes, I really believe in providing education and opportunities for our employees to be able to learn and grow.
Why? Why is that so important?
I think it's all part of engagement. If employees feel that you are investing in them, they are engaged in what they are doing. And when you have an engaged employee group and people wake up in the morning coming to work feeling like they are important and that they have an opportunity to learn and grow, that is going to build on what we are able to offer. I often have said that it's really a simple cycle that we work together to take care of our clients, to grow our business so that we can give back to our employees.
It's a pretty good cycle.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, very simple. And it's funny, we probably overcomplicate it in some cases, but it doesn't have to be that complicated at all. What made you start your own business? I know you said that you wanted to be in leadership. I guess the question is why? What was it about leadership? Why did you want to start your own company versus just work for somebody else?
I think from a very young age, knew that I wanted to be in a leadership role, possibly even have my own business. My father owned the gas station in our small town. I started a car wash where I would advertise around town and that kind of things. I think it's a calling. And I had the opportunity to move into a leadership role after I had been in sales for 19 years. I knew that I wanted that. So I started to network and have discussions around finding that next position at an industry event, met Michael Keane, who is the owner, CEO of the John Roberts Company. And after talking with him and sharing with him really that I wanted and was looking for a leadership position and how I'd gotten my MBA, I got a call from him the following week and asked me to come in and talk about the VP of sales role there. After interviewing with him, took that role. And then that's where I really had my first opportunity to be in a leadership role. And I learned so much. I walked into having 22 sales reps, 18 of which were men. And I think pretty much all of them were older than me. It was a great opportunity to learn. And I had great support from the Keen family there. So it was from there that I had the opportunity to not only be in a leadership role, but also launch my own brand and company. So during that time, I got a call from the person that had been the CFO at Litho back when I had started and was in that internship program. He called me one day and asked if I would meet with an investor who had landed with a printing company in his lap through an financial investment they had made, and they were looking for a leader to launch a new company. And so I said, thank you for thinking of me, but I'm really happy where I'm at. But like back in 1991, when I said no to Mr. Pogue about that role coming into the internship program at Litho, I started thinking, you know what? I'm 44 years old right now. And maybe this is the time to make that leap and start something and be able to launch a new company. So I met with the investor and I learned that this was an incredibly financially distressed and mismanaged organization. Toured the plant. The roof was leaking. There was not air conditioning in the plant, Denise.
Oh, no.
The morale was low. There was not a strategic plan. There was not a new business development plan. But again, I was 44. And if I was going to be able to launch something and no longer be working for somebody else, this was probably the opportunity to do that. So my husband encouraged me to follow this stream and I did it. I think people thought I was crazy. I think I probably knew I was a little crazy.
Especially after the plant tour.
Yeah, exactly. And so I came from this large organization that had an incredible brand that was established to a really tarnished brand and probably an organization I never would have worked for. So I spent that first year telling everybody that we were not Synergy Graphics with a new name, that we were SeaChange, that we were a brand new company. We built the brand and inherited at that time about $8 million in sales. And now we're over $40 million in revenue. And we just celebrated our 11-year anniversary.
Which is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And it's just kind of crazy thinking about you touring that company, leaking roof. People don't want to be there. They're discouraged. They're just waiting for that pink slip to come at that point, I'm guessing.
Exactly. Yes.
And really to turn the company around to be what it is today is really remarkable. So congratulations on that. But that had to be probably one of the scariest leaps you've ever done.
It was a huge leap. Certainly the proudest moment of my career was making that leap and launching SeaChange and becoming a women-owned business of significance.
Yeah, I can only imagine. But I am actually going to go back to when you started at John Roberts, something that you mentioned. You walked in, you're head of sales, department of 22, 19 of which were men. What was that like? How was that received? Because now you're their boss, you're younger than them, and you're a woman in an industry that necessarily doesn't have a lot of women, especially in those leadership positions.
Like I said, I had a lot of support from the leadership team there. And I think because I had walked in their shoes, I had been in sales for 19 years and been successful in sales for 19 years, that I gained their respect. And I brought some new perspectives. I was able to coach and work with them and really develop great relationships there where we were able to work arm in arm in growing the business and developing new clients. Personally, I think they saw me as an asset. I came in with a ton of energy. I had wanted this role in leadership and here was my opportunity to do this. And so coming in and knowing that when you've got the want it, I think that and the energy, and when I'm just naturally a very positive person,
Mhm.
and I'm good at developing relationships. And so having that was able to, in essence, probably win them over a bit and work with them. And they saw the benefit.
So, looking at your growth from over the years, was starting and launching SeaChange the biggest challenge that you faced?
I would say that was probably when I look back at my career, the biggest challenge, just knowing that I needed to take what was a negative brand and start from less than zero, as you could say. So launched SeaChange with the tagline of embracing technology and redefining print. So 11
Mhm.
years ago, we certainly were not redefining anything when we launched this company.
You were fixing
And
roofs.
so, yes, and my leadership team still teases me about having the audacity to put that tagline out there, but that was really my vision and could see it. So I knew that this vision of being able to bring contemporary solutions to our customers is what would differentiate us. So I started by creating the brand. It's a very contemporary brand with a friendly voice, emphasizing technology rather than equipment speeds and all kind of the traditional print language.
Mhm.
It remodeled the building. We put in a new HVAC system. There's air conditioning now everywhere. The new roof, no more leaking, and really redesigned it to look more like an agency as opposed to a manufacturing site. So once I had the remodel in place and the branding in place, I was able to start recruiting. And that part was a challenge too, of just being able to find talent
Mhm.
to jump in and be part of something that was a new venture and for them to leave places where, again, like I had made that leap from something that was stable and come to something that was smaller. That first big hire for me was a VP of operations that I had worked with in the past. And getting him to come on board again just brought more credibility to what we were doing here at SeaChange and started spreading the word of this is a place that has a future.
Mhm.
So from there, I hired a new chief technology officer now 9 years ago, and somebody that we really could not afford at the time. But that's what allowed me to start to realize that vision of embracing technology and redefining print.
How important was the technology for you when you were building SeaChange? You've mentioned it a couple of times. You couldn't afford the chief technology officer, but you did it anyway. Why was that such an important investment for you?
Because I knew that to truly differentiate, we needed to provide contemporary tools to our clients. And there are more printing companies, they say, than McDonald's. So
Mhm.
there's so much competition. And so, how do you narrow it down? And so, I knew that getting SOC 2 certified, getting high trust certified, having the right IT infrastructure, having an internal agency, these were all things I knew I needed to get in place, but I needed the right talents to get it going
Mhm.
and invested and probably invested at a higher level than a company of our size maybe normally would or could or should have at that time. But it was that vision of knowing where we needed to get to. And so it's worked. We've been able to bring on clients that I maybe thought would have never been possible back in 2014 for Sea Change to win. And we have been able to service clients end to end from creative strategy all the way to delivery. And for us now that we're known maybe more as an agency or a marketing partner than we are as a printer.
Mhm.
And that's even exceeding my original goal 11 years ago, which is really exciting and something I'm incredibly proud of.
Is there any particular maybe project or initiative that you've worked on that you feel has really influenced the industry as a whole or even your company to help you to grow and to get where you are today?
Absolutely. When I think about something that has helped see change to grow, it likely is the implementation of Traction. So, Traction is the entrepreneurial operating system that I launched at SeaChange back in 2016. So, actually talking with our banker and telling him what I was doing with our strategic planning. And he asked, "Are you using Traction?" And I said, "No, actually, I'm not." So, I went out, I bought the book, and I was hooked. I gave the book to our leadership team and we launched it. Many companies have a professional facilitator, but we self facilitate. And what I found about Traction is that it gives us structure for strategic planning. You have a 1 year plan, you have a 3 year plan, you have a 5 year plan. And from that, you back it out into having quarterly strategic planning where all team members have rocks. And so if I look over time, Denise, at how many rocks we have accomplished since 2016, when you think about everybody having multiple rocks per quarter,
Mm-hmm.
it's incredible. It allows us to hold each other accountable because we have weekly L10s where we have to share if we are on track or off track with our rock. And so it also provides accountability. There's an accountability chart. It's about having the right people in the right seats. And I think maybe one of my favorite things about Traction is the core values
Okay.
and establishing your core values. And it's those words that we live by and we hire to them, we fire to them, we make decisions around them. And I find that sea changers now use them in their everyday language. So you'll hear somebody say, of course we can get that done because we're nimble, or we keep going because we're positive, or a certain situation that might be a hard situation between employees. And we go back to our core values and think about respect. And so these have become so ingrained and loved by SeaChange that I see them popping up all over the building. The logo that we have for our core values all of a sudden will be on yet another sign on some wall. It's just great to be able to see that we live by them, we believe in them. We actually just had last year our very first inaugural core value awards where sea changers could nominate each other for each of the core values.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a red carpet ceremony. Actually, we had pink carpet because it's part of our brand. But we had a ceremony.
You have to go with the brand. Come on.
We had to go with the brand, and we had trophies, and we had a booklet of all the nominees, and we had judges that were outside of the industry just to make sure that everything was fair with the judging. And so we announced the winners and had trophies for them, and they came down the pink carpet and they gave the best speeches. It was one of the most fun days I think I've probably had here at SeaChange in 11 years.
So I'm guessing you're going to do this yearly now.
We absolutely are. Can't wait till next year. We've already put it on the calendar.
That is awesome. So now the book was what again? Because I'm going to have to go look this up.
Traction by Gino Wickman.
I will make sure to make a note of that and take a look at it as well. So thank you for that little piece of advice. I appreciate that. So looking ahead, obviously already accomplished so much in your career. Is there a particular legacy that you hope you were able to leave in the industry? Is there a way that you want to be remembered for all of the things that you have done?
It's a great question. And gosh, one that's really fun to think about. I started with that really big, hairy, audacious goal of redefining print. What does that really mean? I think that means it's about staying ahead of the industry and creating a dynamic workplace where creativity and forward thinking are encouraged. But for me, it goes well beyond that. I think about our work, and SeaChange supports 156 families. We print ballots, which are integral to democracy. We produce protected health information, which is part of the healthcare system. But yet legacy goes even further than that. So I guess for me, I just want to be remembered for fostering a company culture where people were passionate about their mission and finding meaning in their work, where we feel like we're winning together and we're having fun together. And at the end of my career, that goal for me is that I've had a positive influence on the lives of our employees.
I think you already have done a lot of that in the time that you're here at SeaChange.
What gets me up every morning, Denise?
I can only imagine. And it's interesting, going back to an earlier comment, I was just thinking about this, that there's more print shops than there are McDonald's franchises. But yet you might see McDonald's literally like on every single solitary corner, but print we don't see. How do we make print more visible to the industry and the world at large? 'Cause I think that's a struggle that every single solitary print shop is facing, especially when it comes to recruitment and finding people to tell them about this is an awesome place to work and an awesome industry to work in.
I think that takes a village,
Yeah.
and all of us are in that together. And print is not dead. Print is having a revival.
Hmm.
Right now, people don't answer email. They don't answer their phone. Now we've got the focused and what is it called? Unfocused inbox.
Yeah.
So any industry that is trying to reach their audience is having a really hard time doing it. But what people do is look at their mail.
Mm-hmm. Every day.
Print is around us everywhere. So it takes all of us being advocates about it. And I think you mentioned too about the kind of careers that are in the print industry and how they're thought of. And I think that it can be thought of as this dirty ink on your hand, years, big machines, but the industry really isn't like that anymore.
It's changed.
It's changed and it's really all about technology. And there are so many roles that are a great fit for women. When I think about our employee base, we've got 156 of us, and there's probably less than a dozen, maybe 6 to 8 that actually are around ink.
Mm-hmm.
The rest are all using computer. So what an exciting time. And I just think what an exciting time for women
Mm-hmm.
because women are a great fit for those technology roles. Here at SeaChange, we've got women driving forklifts. We've got women running digital presses, running inserters. I really feel like they can do any job in our industry.
Honestly, technology has helped to empower women to take on jobs that may have been traditionally men. You look in the offset press room, for instance, trying to deal with some of those paper rolls or some of those larger things. Physically, women sometimes just don't have the strength to do that. That's just their makeup. It's physical. Unless they are some kind of wild bodybuilder in their past life, most of us can't bench press a couple thousand pounds. Honestly, men can't either. But the technology has enabled women and men, has enabled everybody within the company to work smarter, to not have to worry about injuring themselves. Come on, you have a chief technology officer. If you looked at a print shop 20 years ago, that's probably not part of the C-suite at all because it really wasn't necessary at that point. So it's just amazing how far technology has brought us and really what jobs it has opened up and what different jobs it's opened up.
Yeah, when you look at our industry, women can be in technology. They can create online storefronts. They can manage integrated marketing programs. They can manage fulfillment campaigns. They're great with communication and working with clients. We have 80% of our sales team are female. I have 4 strong women on my executive team at SeaChange, from our CFO, our chief revenue officer, our VP of people and culture, and our chief marketing officer. We promoted female lead our gather agency team. We also have a female lead our creative services team. Really, women can do any job in our industry. I think they're strong in technology. Overall, I think there's just a great opportunity for women in our industry.
In conclusion, my favorite question is looking back at your career. So, when you were sitting as a night receptionist, starting there into all the things that you've done over the years, if you were just starting out today, you were walking in as a new hire, what advice would you give yourself?
I think the first advice I would give myself is don't wait for somebody to notice your hard work and your effort. I was told from a very early time at Litho that I would make a great leader and that someday that would be a role that I could move into. But multiple times I was passed over. The job was never posted.
Mhm.
And of course, happens to be men got that role both times. And I was told they're going to be a great mentor for you. And they were. I learned a lot from them. Instead of waiting, I think instead I would have been more strategic and putting myself in the right network and doing that a lot sooner. Advocating for myself. Exactly. And making the opportunity happen rather than waiting for it to happen.
Mhm.
I think the second piece of advice I'd give myself is just really supporting each other. When I think about when I was early in my career and maybe would be complimented for my work, I used to downplay it. And I had a female leader tell me once to stop doing that and just say thank you. All of us need to do that for each other. Stop
Mhm.
saying sorry. Don't be afraid to take up space. Really set boundaries for yourself and be willing to enforce them, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable. And then lastly, is just work to understand and embrace every bit of ourselves. Refrain from comparing ourselves to others and just be really authentic on how we can exert our power with confidence.
All great advice. Wendy, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and I love this conversation. So thank you again for joining me.
And thank you for having this podcast available for everybody, Denise. I've loved listening to all the other women on it and look forward to many more.
Thank you again. Thank you for joining us on this journey to celebrate and amplify the voices of women in the printing industry. If you have a story to share or know someone whose journey deserves to be highlighted, we'd love to hear from you. Together, let's continue inspiring and empowering the next generation of leaders. Until next time, keep leaving your imprint. This is Her Imprint. See you soon.